validator. I did a bit of review for Giveth 2 as well. And so I would like Matteo to go next because I stopped in the middle. Hi, James. We just started. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to see what Matteo and James have to say. They did a lot of stuff. And afterwards, we will dive into the issues to close them and look at our sprint and the new issues, especially. So maybe Matteo, you want to start?
Sure. Hey everyone. So my main update for the week was I added the Ethereum name service approach for the addresses for both edition and creation. So you can right now type in your ENS domain and it will fetch the Ethereum address instantly. I fixed some of the flow in the creation. I made the reaction of the projects, but there is a book that I am currently solving with Camilo right now. So it's not complete then yet. What else? I added the review, the issues. Yeah, the little bottom on the side that says report an issue if something happens. Let me see what else. The share button, I made up my own pop-up to for you to share the project in that in the bread card that is share this and it will show you the three buttons from Twitter, Facebook and LinkedIn. We may add another way to share as well. Those are the default that we have all over in the app. Maybe I'm missing something, but if we check the issues, I can tell also what else I did. But besides that, there were many UX UI issues that I saw. Also, well, James can give his update, but he did an amazing job adding the donations through crypto in the database. So he changed that flow. Also, we removed the Etherscan fetching of that. I pass it to James so he can get more detail on that.
Cool.
Thanks.
Thank you, Matteo. Hi, everybody. Yeah, so I did quite a lot of work in Giveth this week, I would say, and that was on sort of 3 places. All of it was around saving donations in the database and then returning the donations that had been saved back again. So the first part of this was around for each individual donor, for them to be able to see where they donated money. And as I went into this, like I had quite a few realizations and discovered quite a few things that I wasn't super happy with, basically, that we can talk about, I don't know, at some point, I guess. But mostly it's around how we deal with logged in users and how we have a session for a user, essentially. So yeah, I don't know, like how does the agenda normally work? Like, I mean, should I just give an update of what I've been working on, or is like, should I go into detail of some things I want to talk about? I wrote some stuff on the agenda for the call.
So there is on the agenda only looking at the sprint, which we'll do in depth on Wednesday anyway. So there is time to discuss. Although, yeah, Willie is here. Nice. So I was just looking if he was here. Yeah, I think we can discuss this. Do you want to add any more updates?
I'll finish out what I was saying. So basically, like, yeah, saving updates and retrieving updates, right? So like all of this is pretty much done now. There's some PRs that need to be merged, basically. And the only part that is not done is I haven't integrated means changes where we get the Ethereum price at the time of the transaction from Feathers. Like, that's what I'll do next. But otherwise, for a donor, they can see any donation they made. For a project, we can see any donations that have been made for these also. And yeah, that was like the gist of it, basically. As a part of this, like I was really unhappy with how we've integrated Taurus embed. So I've been speaking to Taurus also. I posted a screenshot in Discord. I need to add Mateo to the group chat, but I think everyone else is in there. I mean, at least Armin and Kai are in there already, and they're going to release they're doing a new release tomorrow, which will make it unnecessary for us to have a pop-up signing of a message, essentially, which is a big win for us, I would say. Also, the way I did the implementation, it's very unreliable to know that we have a logged in session for a user in our current app, right? Like they click login, they appear to be logged in, but there is no like JOT or no JWT token like being stored for them in the DApp at all, right? So they're kind of not really super authenticated. So that meant that like when I was saving the details of the user's donation, it made it very, I could not rely on anything to do with being logged in, right? So the way I've implemented it now, I think is the best case, the best way of doing it that I can imagine, which is simply that if a user is logged in or not, it doesn't matter. Like when they make a donation, whether that's through Taurus, MetaMask, or whatever, like we save that address in local storage in the browser. So we save their public address. And then if they are logged in, they will be allowed to go to the My Donations page. If they're on this page, then we will send all of the addresses that are in local storage, which should be any address that they've ever made a donation from, and then we will return those donations for them in the My Donations page. But that's got nothing to do with whether they're logged in or not, right? So like theoretically, that means that anybody who's not logged in, like anyone can like go to our API and request like all of the donations for a set of addresses, right? Like for me, that's acceptable in my mind, because ultimately we're talking about a blockchain anyway, right? Like if you have a list of addresses, then you can go and look on a block explorer or whatever. So it's not a security risk for me. It's just I don't like it somehow. But I think our options when I looked at it was either only disallow a user to make a donation except if it's from their logged in Ethereum address. So that would mean that like if they're logged in with Taurus, that they can only donate with Taurus, or if they're logged in with MetaMask, they can only donate with MetaMask. Like that would have made me feel better in some way, but it's like a super undesirable outcome, right? Like we really don't want that. So like what I'm saying is that like we should either restrict where they can donate from, or we should reflect all of their addresses in our database also, right? Like there's a kind of disconnect between what we're allowing in the DApp and what we're storing for a user in the database in the backend. Anyway, that's quite deep and detailed, I would say, and maybe unnecessary, so I'll leave it there. But essentially, to summarize, I would say we have probably the best working solution right now. I think in the future, we should really revise how we do the login and all that stuff after MVP. I think ideal situation is we do a detect if they have MetaMask installed, and if they don't, then we present them with just Taurus or something like this. But yeah, for now, like let's just keep it. I'm quite happy with what we have right now. I mean, I'd love to hear what you guys think about it. Anyway, and especially if we get this update from Taurus, then I think we could be looking pretty good, essentially. But yeah, I mean, best to just play around with it yourselves and make more sense of it, I suppose. What do you guys think?
I have a question regarding the what you mentioned, that we are saving every way that the donor is making the donation, either if it was Taurus or MetaMask or whatever. We are using the local storage, but it is also dependent that you log in through Taurus for you to see your donations, or we are.
Yeah, I mean that's a decision we can make, but as it stands right now, like you cannot go to My Donations unless you're logged in. That was like that before, and it makes total sense.
Yeah.
Well, it makes total sense in the world where like you have an account that is linked to a single wallet address, and if you're logged in with that wallet address, then you should be able to see donations from that wallet, right? But if we're thinking more in a mindset of like, we don't necessarily care if someone even has an account, like if if they're somehow logged in with that address somehow, like they've signed a message at some point or whatever, or yeah, then I mean, like maybe in that world, like we want anybody to be able to go to my donations anyway, right? Like I think it's super cool in one way, and I'm also super worried about it because it's a bit janky, right? Like there's we have so many like possibilities of logged in, not logged in this wallet, not logged in that wallet. Like there's so many permutations of this that I think this could get like quite buggy. So I'm a little concerned about it, but like in the spirit of getting to MVP as fast as possible, I think we should just try to do a set of testing with it, see if it works out. I think it probably will. Like I think it's going to work. Maybe if there's some bugs, fix them, I guess, and hope for the best for now. But yeah, I mean, it should actually work. I don't see why not, right? But it's quite a bit more complicated than.
Yeah, I think that for MVP, we should focus or centralize, sadly, the authentication through Torus as it is right now, and then we can discuss how we can maybe check the best way for making multiple providers a way of authentication, because that would mean that if you have MetaMask, you can authenticate yourself with your address, and that's your account. There's nothing else we have to do in there, either parties or whatever. So I think that's the issue of multiple provider for 1 year.
I agree. Yeah, I think having. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead. Sorry. Currently we are using Torus after a while and seeing the problems we have with Torus about authentication. Exactly. I thought why we have restricted. We have we keep using Torus just as well for authentication, because as I see for example, we have using Amber.js. It's about any kind of wallet. And and we also save the user data in our database, and we haven't implemented avatar, user profile, anything, but we are using it. And and also I didn't get the point about when the user about the address storage. I didn't get the point. Do you mean that when the user is not? You mean that when the user is not logged in, we see the addresses in the storage and load all the donation for those addresses? Is it that? Is it right?
It's if the user is logged in or if the user is not logged in, it doesn't matter. In every case, like whenever they make a donation, we save the address that they make the donation from in local storage.
How do you know he has done the donation?
After the donation is made, like we have some logic there which doesn't. I mean, we just check. Like there's lots of.
How do you match those? Because based on time, based on what? Because you get the information from a wallet and see, okay, he has done the donation and save in the pending state in the database and wait until it's go through.
I think right now, like we don't like check to see if the transaction has completed or something like this.
I had it commented because Notify.js alongside Onboard.js handles that, and it has an event handler when the transaction passes correctly, but they are offering it as a service, so I just commented it because I didn't want to spend the daily limit that they are offering. So either we can make our own, or I don't know.
I saw that there. I think like in the use case that I'm talking about, I think that it's not really important because like, I mean, if we're specifically talking about just saving the address that the user makes a donation from, we only use that information to decide what addresses we need to check for donations from, right? So I don't know if that's clear. So in this use case, all we're saying is that like if a donation is made from this address, we save it in local storage, and we do so for the purpose of knowing what addresses we need to go and check for donations from, right? So I think whether the transaction goes through or not, in this case, is not like super important, right? But I mean, it's a good question, but I just want to be clear on them. I mean, anything we do, like I'd say it's good enough right now, basically in this case, right? But yeah.
That's my thought too. Hearing what you guys have in place now sounds great for MVP. I also like the idea for after MVP to detect MetaMask if the user already has MetaMask installed, detect that and not push them through Taurus. I think it's a really cool idea, and really glad to hear that you're able to talk with Taurus and get around the pop-up message. I think that's a huge win. So, yeah, I mean, hearing this implementation for tracking donations sounds really good for MVP. I'm not too concerned about the endpoint being opened where anyone can query donations by an address. Like that seems almost like a feature to me rather than a vulnerability. And then down the road, I think like if we get a lot of requests from users that they want to see, they want to be able to like add any address and track donations, that could be a cool feature to implement down the road where users can theoretically add any address and like sign a message from any address and then say, okay, now I want this address. I want to show up under my donations and these donations from this address to be associated with my account. That could be a cool feature down the road if we get a lot of user requests from it.
That's true. So what do we think about, should we continue to lock down the My Donations page only if the user is logged in, or?
I think that makes sense for now, the My Donations page to leave as is. Like, what would be the argument for opening it up?
Well, the argument would be that if all it would mean is that if I'm not logged in and I make a donation with my MetaMask, then it could be cool for me to go to the My Donations page and see that donation there, right? But I mean, there could be complications if we try to open it up also. There could be other things that are missing. I don't know. I'm just, yeah.
The point I'm talking about that I don't like the way we are using Taurus is that we have onboard.js. It covers the Taurus, and also when you connect the Taurus to that, you can get the instance. I had that question. I asked that question from the community of the onboard.js. They say that okay, if you are connected via Taurus, you can get the instance username, profile, image, and something by that entry. So it's possible if a user logged in with Taurus on onboard.js, we get the profile information. So we have everything under the under umbrella of the onboard.js. And I prefer the point that whenever user connect a wallet, he's logged in and he can see his page and he can see his My Donation page. It's really. Honestly, it's similar to US1, but I didn't find any better solution in my mind. And the point that Danny said, the point that Willie said, that okay, it's a DeFi application similar. Say what address do you want to go through? Say okay, I want to see the balance of this, and for example, the pools, the balance, and everything related to this address. I don't have that wallet, but I want to see this address, and it's cool. So I think we should get rid of Taurus as it is, because just stick to just onboard.js and have a valid address on top of right now. And
I totally agree.
You are there. We agree.
I totally agree with you. Like, I don't like how it's done. Like, I don't like having Taurus and onboard.js like this. Like, it's really, like, I don't like it at all. But it's definitely, it's working for now for sure. Actually, I would not like to use onboard.js. I would like to, as I said, like detect if there's MetaMask. If there's not, then offer them Taurus and Wallet Connect. I think like Wallet Connect plus Wallet Connect, MetaMask, Taurus, like is everything, right, that we need, right? Like, I mean, onboard.js is only free for the first 1,000 users, if I understand it correctly. Like, it's cool that you get analytics and stuff like this. But yeah, I mean, anyway, it's another conversation, but in general, I agree with you that like, I don't like how we're doing it right now. I mean, I would suggest agree to change it.
The only counter for that is that onboard.js has everything, every way that you can make a donation through crypto right now, and limiting that would slow things down, I guess, because we need to make the user easy to donate whatever way it is. So if we only limit it for MetaMask, Wallet Connect and Torus, I think we are limiting a lot the user. And the big difference that I believe you are not seeing is that Onboard is only a provider uh, service for many ways to make a transaction, but Torus is serving as an authentication service. Onboard.js it has nothing to do with authentication. It only handles the transaction. You can make them through them. It signs the provider, and that's it. But Torus is another way, another thing completely. So
The point about
Onboard.js is
Torus,
free
they
too,
cannot
right?
be compared, I guess.
That's a good point, Mateo. And Onboard.js is free, right? It's just the Notify.js that.
The Notify.js is what's costly. Onboard is completely free.
the point about Torus is when we use a Torus, we don't use Torus embed, we use Torus SDK and have the private key. Otherwise, we are still, user authenticates, but we don't have his authentication information. We just have his valid address until we sign a message and say, okay, you have a private key. So we don't have the Torus authentication until we use the Torus embed and use the standard wallet that the users see everywhere.
Can we agree that right now what we have is at least good for like getting some of these first projects on, and then we can see how that works, and we can continue talking about it.
I agree.
Cool. I do really like the idea of giving MetaMask if we detecting MetaMask for more advanced users and letting them go with that, not pushing the more advanced users to go create an account with Torus. But it does seem there is kind of two different things here, because to create a project, that's where we want to make it really easy for anybody who's not even necessarily crypto savvy to be able to come in, create an account with email, password, or with any of these single sign-on options, then be able to create a project and accept donations. And Torus is really good for that, as opposed to like MetaMask, Wallet Connect, or like even just showing a brand new user who's not crypto savvy a bunch of different wallet options. Torus, I think, that's like the best thing about Torus, is that we don't have to overwhelm a user and teach them all about wallets and stuff just to get them started, because that's a big barrier. On the donation side, we do want to have like maximum support, basically, for the users who are going to be donating crypto. They got to have some level of crypto understanding, and I like Onboard.js as an option there. But I'm open to debating it, and coming up with better solutions for sure. But it does at least seem like for now what we have in place is solid for this first MVP.
Totally. And I mean, like, totally. I mean, like, there's definitely, I was just flagging that I agree I don't like how it is, and that like after MVP, like we can totally change it. I would like to. Yeah.
Cool.
Cool.
And
Sure,
I have
ahead,
a question about. Okay. Oh, what did you say? Okay, thank you. I have a question about the donation tracking. James, we track every donation to a specific address.
So yeah, I mean, the tracking of donations is that if they make a donation through the GUI, through the dApp, then we save it through the GraphQL server into the database, right? So it's completely, any of this stuff is off-chain. Like, I mean, we do, in the backend, we do go to Etherscan to get the transaction details from there, basically. But yeah, I would say it's done in a very, in the easiest way possible, I would say. It might not be that robust or something.
So we rely on Etherscan to get the information about the donation to a specific address. You are right? Am I right?
For a transaction, we send the transaction ID from the dApp to the backend, and then with the transaction ID, we go to Etherscan and get the details.
So we just support donations that has done via our user. So if the user has the address and do the donation after on another wallet and not through our application, we don't have the address. Yeah.
Exactly.
And, and the point is that we have the same problem on the Giveth one, that the user is the speed up. We don't have transaction hash anymore. We have user nouns. If the user do the donation, network is slow, or gas fee is high. User do it, but as soon as user hit confirm the transaction, we have a transaction hash. its value is not needed to be mined to have that hash value. But if the user speed up the transaction, increase the gas price, the transaction has changed, and we don't have, and that transaction is not valid anymore. So Giveth one, we keep the nonce, and because we have all the transactions to our smart contract. It's easy. We match the events, the user nonce, and everything with that pending transaction, and say, okay, these two are same. Change the transaction hash and save it. I don't know how it works, and in our case that we have a simple address, not a smart contract. We don't, maybe I don't know whether every transaction to every money transfer to an address is obtainable without Etherscan or not. And my case, I have if I don't do mistake, I have seen sometimes that Etherscan doesn't show every money movement to an address. User has some balance, but there is no transfer of data, for example, to that address. And say, oh, where's that? There wasn't any. The Etherscan doesn't show that, and that's a bug. If Etherscan fails, and Etherscan's API say that there is no guarantee. I have seen that.
That's great. I mean, it's great to know that, and I'm sure there's so much that you've learned on Giveth one that we will need to know about for sure. I think the way that it's done now is definitely minimum viable and getting into the product, right? So I mean, I expect we'll probably face some interesting bugs in the future. It sounds like from what you're saying, but yeah, I expect that it's probably going to work a lot of the time. I mean, I want to say most of the time. Maybe it sounds like edge cases is what you're talking about, I would say, but yeah.
Edge cases. They make the backend complicated and rather hard to maintenance. And this Giveth one, we created a simulation script to run through the events from the first of the smart contract is created and fix every state mismatching. I'm just seeing that, and
that's exciting. I mean, honestly, I personally am very interested in watching addresses for events and things like this, and I know you've been working on this, so I guess we can talk about that anyway. I mean, in the future, I'm sure we can build something cool if you haven't already got something that will catch this stuff.
For sure. Thank you.
Cool. That's it for me anyway. I have nothing else really. I feel I mean, I don't know what Matteo would say about this, but my feeling is that we could potentially have everything done by our deadline Wednesday or Thursday, whatever we agreed, so that we can deploy a good version to get tested, to get hammered, and start really making realistic predictions about when we can get this out.
All right. Thanks for this discussion. It's a very interesting one. One little thing from me still. I'm always amazed when I use Taurus on my Safari browser, and then later realize that I just use Safari and I'm on a crypto wallet because it works with nothing else. Same on mobile and same through all browsers except the cookies thing, right? So that's one thing to consider. And I think we have this not in the brain because we use Taurus for authentication and to have a receiving address for the campaigns, but it's actually quite different from donation, and maybe we can separate it somehow even better. But like you said, I don't want to go on here. Let's do this, push this to fast follow maybe. And I'm also +1 for maybe manually adding addresses you have, or in general, more focusing towards exploration of donations in the sense of accountability, all should be visible. And so I should always be able to see what, browse through the history of campaigns and look at, click at a donation and see who is it from, even if there is no name, see the others. But we said we would put it to fast follow. let me quickly, and also thank you for the updates. Jesus. Why does this not work? It's too big. Oh, now it works. I want to. This is very slow. I don't know why. I just wanted to quickly actually look at the at the milestone to see if we. Great. Let me actually do the new. So we made this. Oh yeah, one thing. So both of you said your PRs are not ready, right? And you will ping me when you are, so we can review. They're both building now. I saw that.
Yeah, I need to basically get to merge the latest impact graph changes before, but otherwise it's completely ready.
There is also an update. I just made the PR on impact graph regarding some changes for projects reactions that Camilo just made. So that one is also blocked for my PR. So if
Okay.
you can check it out, James, whenever you can.
I'll merge it. I'll pull it now and merge it into mine and check it out.
Great.
All right. So let's see. Oh yeah, did you? So before I do anything else, did you get this, Matteo?
Yeah, I checked a lot of them, but not everyone. I
Can
think
you edit this? Can you check those checkboxes?
let me see.
That's why I like to start with this one because it's such a collector. This is not for sure not the most important issue that's here. While you're looking for it,
Yeah, I can do it. I can
cool.
toggle the button.
So where was this? I'm still getting my bearings with this. I had this other view of a milestone. I can't do it now. I don't know why. So this is, I think you said this is pending. Still some changes again, or still.
As soon as James updates the impact graph, it should work. Let me show you.
It's done now. I've merged yours.
Cool. Nice. So that's. Are you showing something? No. Okay.
No, right now. Are you seeing something?
Yes. Yes. Let me. Yeah.
So this is the button, the reaction. So it's a toggle that depends on the user. If you're logged in, you can react to the project. And the share is just this. If anyone has some design, Marco is not here, I think. But if he were, I guess he would say something better for this. But so far, it's just share this project, and when you click on Twitter or whatever, you just see the same hashtag Giveth. We need to make better the marketing for this. So, oh, well, it shouldn't say undefined, but it should go Giveth in here. But I need to check on that. But that's it.
Nice.
I'm noticing that little arrow is the one that's usually used for like forward or reply, but usually when I see that little dot with the arrow, the two more dots, it's like a three, is it
Okay.
3 dots? That's the share icon that people would be more familiar with.
I think the one is the same arrow, but it's inside a square. I guess that's the one that is more clear because the 3 dots is usually referred to settings, no?
I would actually agree with Matteo here that the 3 dots, like it's here in, yeah.
I'm saying it wrong. It's 1 dot and then an arrow to 2 other dots. It's like a dot.
Oh yeah, that one.
Dot. That's what share is. You know what I'm talking about? I'll go find it.
It's like a less than sign with dots at the end, right?
I know what you're talking about, Danny. I think if you search share icon, you'd see the icon Danny's talking about. But Danny, there's that.
React logout, you get the pop-up. So you log in.
Nice. It looks good. Yeah, let me not forget to add design needed for Marco. Yeah. Did you already push your changes?
Yeah, this is the PR. The
Cool,
one
because I need a screenshot, that's why. And I should be able to make one on a deploy preview of your share. Ta-da! It works great. All right. Yeah, thanks.
Oh, that one. Yes, that is the one. That's true.
Any who should decide? So actually the new issues, there were some new issues. I think you just added this, Matteo, as well.
Mm-hmm.
But you said you did not, there is still something missing, like when did you say project? No.
No, it was Camilo for the reaction, but it's up already. So it's working.
Okay. I think you said you integrated ENS in this place, but it was missing on 2 others.
ENS is already up for both creating and editing the project.
Cool, thanks. Is Griff here? Griff, do you like this? Let's do a quick review. Report an issue button on the right. Gotcha.
Sorry.
There you are.
Yeah, I'm here. Can you show it again? I was definitely working on other things.
It's just here on the lower right of my.
So I only see Giveth 2 workspace.
Oh shoot. Yes, here.
Where is it?
On the bottom right.
Bottom right.
It will be visible everywhere.
Oh, report an issue. Ooh.
Yeah.
I think it could be louder, but it's good. It's good enough for me.
Oh, interesting. What did I do now? Okay, thanks. Let's quickly.
If it were hot pink with arrows and confetti and like cake.
You will not get confetti on everything. That's
dude, confetti works, man. Confetti works.
I know.
Anyway.
So we'll use it for the nations where we need confetti.
Yeah, it's fair. Okay, fine. But I would say it's definitely good enough for MVP. Don't put any more time in it.
Nice.
But donate is hot pink, so red would be probably more appropriate.
Okay, yeah, red. Or green. I like.
Okay, let's do it. Let's do. Signal color. So, Can you tell me about this one, James?
Oh, that should also be.
You're muted. You're muted.
I made a call on this, and non-logged in donor asks if they want to create accounts. Oh, maybe that's not done. Yeah. So essentially, no. What I did is I added a link to that. So when you click on register accounts, it does the same as if you hit a login. It opens Taurus up basically. So I think that can be tested. It's done.
Cool.
Well, once my PR is merged, which is ready to be merged, basically.
All right. Is register the right wording? Yeah. Just thinking loud.
I would prefer create an account, but it's definitely correct in most ways.
Materialize your account from the depths of.
Manifest.
It's really like it's
confetti.
not nice. Yeah. All right, let's do it to QA. In progress. So I'll leave the audit report here. James, you said calculating fiat amount. Fiat amount is you're working on this currently, or is it?
Yeah, that's I'm working on that. Yeah. So at the moment, I think I hard code a value that's returned right now, but it's not going to take me long. I'll probably have that done the next day.
Cool. So as far as the sprint marked stuff goes, oh yeah, there was one thing: the project categories. I didn't test making a new project yet. Do we have them in there already?
Yeah.
Cool.
I changed something on the side because the list was way too long, so I just made it scrollable.
Yes.
Good man.
Thank you. All right. Okay. We can just select. So let's look at other new issues. This is marked as fast follow.
But I fixed it.
Yeah. All right, you fixed it already. So let's do it too. Yeah, the confetti. All right, the confetti. Yes, fast follow. Let's put it to do. This is, I think, is an older one. No, 7 days ago. This was from testing on V2 Griff.
That was last weekend when the graph was down and James found the error, but he fixed it almost instantly.
Okay, so I will close this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yay.
Oh yeah, this is the PR, I think. No?
Yes, this is.
Yes. So this is waiting for this. That's cool. It is now ready to go, or
yeah, it's ready to go. It's ready to go. Yeah, the impact graph's all up to date now.
So let me actually live merge this then.
If you want, merge this one first, and I'll check on my local just to avoid explosions.
Yes. So I merge James now, and you will merge staging into yours.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
I'll let you know, or I can merge it if you want to check something.
I did not review it, although if it works. So just so you know, I'm very transparent. I did not see.
Right.
It's even blocking me, which is nice.
Mm.
This reminds me of another one. I mean, please, still, I need your help with the circle so we push all the changes to, like if we change impact graph, it gets auto deployed to both deployments. And I'm just not able to find any info on how that works. It's very crazy. Do you know how to deploy to more than one server from one repo and one
Actually, I haven't experienced. I thought it was simple, but because you have haven't done that yet, so it's tricky, of course. Now I had just pushed from one source from one branch to deploy one source from one branch, and I don't know whether duplicating the line in the deploy section doesn't work.
So you see, that's why, like, maybe you can try what you think would work, and if that also doesn't work, we need to set up some other form of CI.
Okay.
It would be cool, but we have little more experience. That's why I asked. Yeah.
Thank you. Also, let's assign me to that, and also I should have access to those servers to see whether it's working or not.
All right. You have access, but I'll make an issue.
The second server. I don't think so. The main network.
Yeah, it's the same. It's all the same. It's one-on-one clone of the other one. It just has a different address, and it's its own server.
So yeah, so my SSH is working. Yeah.
Yep. It just it's mainnet.serve, and I'll write to you.
Thank you. Please assign that to me to see.
All right. All right.
Assigning task to me, please. An issue or something like that.
Yeah, I'll also make an issue.
Thank you.
So we have 10 more minutes. So we merge this. So let's see the new issue still. Taurus looked in.
I can create if you are busy. I can create. Let's go ahead. I will create.
Okay. Thanks. Yeah. So this is like, it's part of what we talked before.
We're waiting for the response now, James, to see if this.
Sorry, you're waiting for something from me?
No, that you messaged Taurus, and we're waiting for a response from their side for this.
I for some reason I'm not seeing the screen share. Hang on.
Okay.
I see Amin all the time. Hey, Amin.
You pin me.
There we go. All right, now we're back. Yeah, with this, so they're doing a release tomorrow morning that will essentially not make it a pop-up window and hopefully not show this our secret business over there. I mean, the thing is, like, I think for create projects, that's important. Only for create project, right? Like the actual token itself. Otherwise, we can operate with just the, as we discussed, right? Like this loose security we have for donations. But yeah, so essentially we wait to hear from them. There is a Telegram group that we're already in. I mean, Kai and I will add Matteo. And if anybody else wants to be in that group, then let me know. Your Telegram handle, of course.
All right. I put it into backlog just for because I think this will keep surfacing. Oh, thank you. I mean, there is the issue. Oh yeah, that's the PR. This is so confusing always to me that PRs are added as issues, but maybe it's oh yeah, this is a little thing that I made, a little issue. Thank you for putting in the Giveth campaign. We should make it a bit cooler. This is a very, actually, let's give this a good first issue. I can do the graphic. Maybe someone wants to really nail down this text. And I think we can then just update it on the impact graph. Is the formatting hard, or is there some sort of formatting problem, or did you just paste it in very quickly, James? Because it's yeah.
Sorry, I'm not sure I follow. So this is
here.
Okay. Okay, so this is the seeding of the database, is it?
Yeah. So I think it's you probably added this to have to give it as a standard campaign, and it's nice that it's there, and we should improve upon it. I just wanted to ask if there is anything like this is a typo, right? Like the unlike. It's not, we don't have any problems with formatting. We can put in any text. Is the question?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like for sure, basic formatting is as usual, right? Like, I mean, if we're talking about like having bold and having
yeah,
like,
no,
just stuff, I'm not sure.
If we supply you with a nice paragraph, you can just
that's easy.
All right,
that's
all
cool.
right.
That's cool. Yeah.
Cool. But I'll add this to the sprint. I'll add this to the sprint. All right. I clicked this already. All right. Anything anybody wants to talk about? We will do like a little preview on Wednesday. We will go and look at actually start these reviews that are here, and we'll try until Wednesday to clear out what is not here. Sorry, here.
Can we see? Is this everything that's outstanding?
Yeah, this is not a sprint, and everything is here. That's still quite a lot. I will, in the meantime, go over here and already look for stuff we will want to tackle in the next sprint. Yeah.
I mean, I would just add that, like, if something is assigned to you or to anyone, like to me even, like, and it has the epic that, for the sprint, and that you're not going to finish in the sprint, then we should just flag it, because otherwise I think it would be nice to be able to assume that anything that has got the milestone on it is going to be ready for Wednesday, right? So that we know it's in there.
Yes, the only thing that might be bigger, because see, like basically everything that's in the sprint is already, this is to do, but like you see, it's almost all of it is done or in staging or wants some review.
Yeah.
The only thing that's a bit bigger is this, because it's like a collection, it's like a kitchen sink kind of issue for little things but many of those are already finished because this is an older one. And the other one is yours with calculating fiat amount.
Okay. I mean, I'm just wondering, like, how can we plan this, like, going forward? Like, what do we need to plan? Because I mean, if we finish, for example, everything tomorrow, like maybe it's just useful for us as developers to go through and do a round of testing ahead of like putting in front of everybody else. You know what I mean? Like maybe a pre-wash.
I am. So I guess we are merging as fast as you guys say this is ready to merge. So I have no problem just like, having like a faster turnaround here. If everything is ready on Monday and we merge everything for Monday, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like, do we have, or should we make a plan in terms of like what does testing actually mean? Like, are we going to ask everybody from Thursday onwards to test until Sunday, for example, or like, should we make that more clear? Or
So you said it was your suggestion, and I understood it first that people should immediately test, and then we look at like also immediately look at what happens while testing, and maybe fix it until the next sprint starts. But maybe that was wrong. Maybe you want more time for testing. But
like
I
for
think
me, it's simply like this. It's like that. It would be great to get everybody in Giveth to test and find bugs and stuff like this, right? But like every time we fix a bug, we introduce the chance of breaking something, right?
Sure.
So like it makes sense to me to like have a sort of cycle whereby like we test, we find bugs, we fill up our backlog of bugs to fix, then we fix stuff, and then we do a release, and then everyone tests again, right? Like, so this is kind of like the thinking. Like, I don't have any specifics in mind necessarily, but I think this is the kind of mindset that I was referring to.
All right. So you would like to, so should we keep it at like from Wednesday to Sunday, there is testing and everybody should test and make issues, and then we look at those?
Yeah. I mean, I would say like we developers are aiming to do a release on staging on Wednesday, and we would like everybody who has got time to test on staging and report bugs up until like, yeah, I mean, up until the end of the week, up until Sunday or whatever, right? Or it could just be for a day or two and then we fix things again. I mean, I'm happy to see how things go, but I think that's one proposal I would make, like that would work, right?
All right. Let's do it like that. And so I see you guys in the channel, and on Wednesday, I think you should hop over to the other meeting, or we should.
I think we're actually going to use the same room for the community
Oh,
call,
this is great.
which is nice.
So
Is that Mateo?
Yes,
Yeah, that's what I saw in the Discord.
Mateo?
Okay.
Yeah, just so we can keep the live stream going and make it simple. People don't have to drop off and come back in.
Well, we still need to break the stream and end this one and start the next one.
Oh, great developer update, y'all. I'm so excited for this Wednesday to see the release candidate. It's so exciting. Yeah. A big milestone.
It also means I don't have to give a dev update now, right? At the beginning of the just...
Nice try.
I will rush out of the room for 2 minutes to see if anybody needs anything, and then I'll be back. So I'll give it over to whoever wants to lead the meeting.
You could pass it to Forrest.
I pass it to Forrest.
Thank you.
And we should end this live stream, and then once we get started on the next call, we can start that one.
No, we are staying in the room, and we can split the video. It's easier.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So I can share my screen. All right. So we'll just get started with check-ins then. We can do popcorn style like in the past. Is there anyone fresh joining us on this call that wasn't in the past call? Let's take a look. Seems like mostly the same group, but just shifting over to community, I think it's not a bad idea to still do check-ins. So if we can give an update, anything that you'd like for me to add to the agenda that you want to be sure for us to discuss today, just briefly. your intentions for this call and any distractions going on in your environment. And we can just go popcorn style and pass the mic to someone when you're done. Who would like to go first?
I'll go first. My intentions are, I just reviewed the agenda. I have a few things to share at a few spots in it. Testing is all, I've got a few hours after this call today, and then working on it all day tomorrow with our team here. So my intentions are to get that prioritized for the next 2 days with the crew here for testing and getting the issues updated. My distractions are very low, a little bit of traffic around me, so I'll stay muted until I'm going to speak, and I'll pass it to Mitch.
Hi there. Can everyone hear me all right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. So I've been out most of the week, but I've started learning Git and working on the Giveth docs. What I would like to know from this meeting is the scope of the Giveth docs and where I can get content from and start pushing commits. So that's my update and intention. Distractions, I'm feeling a little bit under the weather, so I'm probably not going to talk very much and do a lot of listening. And I'll pass it to Willie.
Thanks, Mitch. What's up, everybody? My intention today is just to sync up, hear the updates, and figure out what the priorities for this next week are. Distractions, no distractions, finally feeling like a human again. I had very little sleep this past week and was super focused on my day job. It was a busy week, so progress updates. I had very little progress this past week on Giveth stuff. Just kind of the minimal stuff there to help out where I was pinged. But I'm committed to catching up this next week and getting some more stuff done. And I'll pass it to James.
Hi, everybody. I'm doing good, thank you. I did a lot of work on the code base this week for Giveth. And yeah, I really took on the energy of pushing, actually, and I feel like we really made a lot of progress. So I'm quite excited. Begin to see the end of the tunnel on this MVP. So yeah, super happy to be here, delighted, not distracted, and I will pass it to Lauren.
Hi. Yeah, I'm here just to observe and to just see where I can plug in, help out with Danny this week during testing, and stay in the loop. And well, my distractions is someone just came to the door, so now I'm like, what? But other than that, I'm here, and I will pass it to Mateo.
Hey guys, hope you have an amazing Sunday. Just coming from a really productive dev meeting. It's doing really well. So by tomorrow, maybe we will be asking all the community for start testing the application. So you guys can tell us what bugs are you finding or what do you like to see. And yeah, excited for this week. My intentions is to sync up with everyone, and that's it. No distractions. I'll pass it. I'm not sure. Griff?
Yeah, I can take it. Updates. Definitely want to give an update about the Give token. I made a spreadsheet that I'd like to show or at least mention, and also
I can't hear Griff.
I think you cut out for a moment.
Oh no, I muted myself.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, last week you said you have a spreadsheet to share on the Give token update.
Yep, and then an update on. Thank you so much, Forrest. And then an update on conversation with OneHive. There's a video to show if you want to watch the whole thing. And the other things, as far as intentions, I love this call. I'm just gonna hang out and enjoy it. Distractions are the same every week. I live in a bathtub and eat mangoes. So that's, if I'm slow to mute, it's because my fingers are coated with mango juice. I'll pass it to Amin.
Hi everyone. My intention is to catch up and see what's going on and talk about updates. It was fun. Yeah, for that week we have implemented a link preview for all reports, and we have implemented. We have fixed server and front end and yeah, I'm not distracted. And I pass it to Ashley.
Hi. My intentions for the call, I guess, are just to see how we move forward with testing. I'm really excited to. It's been interesting to watch the whole development and watch the launch coming up, and that's going to be cool. I feel like this week I've been just learning a lot and diving into rabbit holes and like learning about augmented bonding curves and conviction voting and what they're doing with like at OneHive and just all sorts of things if we're going to get involved with them, just like learning as much as I can about that. What else? Distractions. We're going to have people over today, so I'm going to be hosting people later. So my mind's kind of like, what do I need to get ready for that? But I think that's about it. And Kai, did you go already?
No, hi. Distracted by family coming home. Update. Yeah, I had a cool dev meeting now. So most of the updates you heard, they are not mine. They are Mateo's and James's. James, they did very good. So we plan, like Mateo said, for you guys to test very soon. I did do some DevOps stuff this week, but that's mainly technical and not very interesting. Forrest said she wanted an email. I gave her an email, so if any of you still need an email address or want one, we can be quite open with them, as we have a plan that lets us basically make as many as we want to. So don't hesitate if you want one. Just please ping me, PM me, Gilles Royal on the chat. Yeah, my intention is to see what's up with the community. And I give it to who did not go, Tommy. It's missing, I think. And Amin, I think, did you go already?
Yeah.
Okay, so.
I haven't gone yet if I'm the only person. Is there anyone else to check in? Okay. Okay, so Forrest here, updates. I'm officially a part of the team. Yay! So really excited about that. My intentions are to, lead an efficient call and remember everyone that had an update to share and be sure to give them space to do that. And distractions, just like feeling some weird gurglings in my physical body. And I don't know what's up with that. But that's just one little distraction going on. Okay, any other check-ins, or did we get to everybody? Okay. So digging into our agenda, this likely looks familiar at the top from last week, but I just wanted to add here that for the scheduling calendar, Griff had asked that we also update in Google Calendar, which I did this morning. Oh, you probably aren't seeing me move over to the screen, but I created calendar invites for all of our different meetings in Google Calendar, and I shared it with those of you that I already have your Giveth.io email. And if you would like for it to be shared directly with you on your personal email or whatever, so far I sent it to Griff, Danny, Willie, Kai, and Mateo. So if you guys can confirm that you did receive them properly, that would be great. And anyone else who would like to be shared on that, please ping me on Discord or whatevs. My info is up here at the top, Reforest. Let's see. Also added in here the 11 a.m. Monday G1, G2 sync call that was missing. There seems to be a little bit of Danny and I were having a little bit of confusion on this. Is this always 11 a.m. CST on Mondays right after the governance call? Can someone confirm that? Okay, I'll follow up with afterwards just to get that confirmed. All right. Any questions on meetings, meeting breakdowns, calendar invites, or any kind of call communication? Perfect. Okay, so then just update on the token design session with Griff. Just to reiterate some action items that we've got here before I pass the mic to you, Griff. Making sure that the full team is aware of going into GitHub and knocking out remaining blockers. There's not dev skills required, so this is something that anybody is able to support in. Willie, I just put this action here for you and I to set some time this week that we can dig into the user stories and kind of flesh that out. And Danny and I are going to work this week on the longer term deployment strategy and timeline. So hopefully we'll have that to share next week. And Griff, I know you mentioned in your check-in that you want to share some updates here. So I'll pass the mic to you.
Sure. So I have a spreadsheet. I'm not quite ready to pass it along, so maybe I'll talk about the Give token requirements for this in like 5 minutes. I just need to clean it, do the last little cleaning, or maybe like if you make me the last issue, then I can talk about that. But I do want to give an update from OneHive. I had a call with Mateo and Luke and a few other OneHive devs. They are really excited about using us as a test case to model like the ability to create an economy like this for anyone, which I think is super cool, and I would like to align with them on that. However, it would slow down our roadmap if we tried to launch with the conviction voting DAO from the beginning. So I would recommend that we just cut that out of the scope, but include it in the roadmap. And it's just the first thing that happens, and we work with OneHive to do it. We have Gabby, who is a OneHive dev and a former, we worked together on this Aragon DAC project for 6 months. Very good friends, and he's going to help us with all the token stuff and all the smart contract stuff that we would need for the Give economy. So that's really cool, and also help us launch, like be the first user of this template that they want to build. But I think it simplifies everything if we try to keep it out of scope. We just include it as the narrative, like this is something that will happen. We include it in the initial distributions and all these ideas. But we just focus on airdrop and liquidity mining as we were planning before. Any feedback or questions or thoughts there?
That sounds pretty great to me. I am curious, just for clarity's sake. So are we talking about deferring kind of the whole Karma DAO template from MVP scope?
Yes.
Okay, and so then where would when tokens are, I guess created, like where would the tokens that go into the liquidity mining incentive, I guess where are they coming from and where are they sitting?
I would say that's something we should look at this week. Okay. There's two important pieces. that need to be considered. First, Karma DAO, I call it Karma DAO. They're renaming it. It used to be called Karma DAO, but they're renaming it to the Honey template, I think, and Honey DAO template, or I don't know. Either way, that template, we can bring our own token, and we can do whatever we want. It's very flexible. So if we would decide we want to launch just on mainnet, bridge the token over, and then include the DAO later, that's totally cool. We don't have to overthink it. Certain things would be easier if we do it a certain way, but it shouldn't be a blocker. I don't think nothing is unachievable considering the team considering that we have One Hive's ear and support. So if we wanted to just launch on mainnet and not even talk about and just tell people we're planning on moving to XDAI, that's totally cool. The other thing that is really nice is cheap gas. So there's a lot of benefits in having the XDAI deployment and the liquidity mining on XDAI. So it's more accessible to normal people. Except those normal people will have to, make their MetaMask work with XDAI, which is the one thing. But the big piece I wanted to add here was that if we launch on XDAI, we are limited to bringing the token to mainnet until the XDAI arbitrary message passing bridge upgrades to allow that. But that's not. It wouldn't be a blocker. We could still launch the token on mainnet, bridge it across, and do all the distributions on XDAI. It's really like what I would say is there's just this big question mark of when is POA network going to finish the bridge that can move tokens that initialized on XDAI to mainnet, which should have been done 3 weeks ago, and they're really just testing the UI. The smart contracts are finishing their audit. So they're pretty close. It really depends on our launch date on exactly what we want to do. So I think we can plan on deploying to mainnet and just bridging all the tokens and paying that little gas fee. Maybe that's cost us $200 or something to just launch the token on mainnet, migrate it through all of them through the bridge in a centralized way, and then distribute them on XDAI. That's totally doable and solves all of our problems. And then, hey, bonus, if we can make our lives easier by deploying the token on mainnet, on XDAI as a mini-me token, which would make the upgrade on XDAI easier and give us it would just make our lives easier for making it an upgradable token instead of the default bridge token that comes out of the mainnet bridge. Anyway, sorry for the rant. I'm gonna stop.
Griff, what are the next steps on this? Are you compiling a list of decisions that need to be made and steps you will take?
I would say we have all those decisions made, and it's in the Giveth planning board. And this is just one issue that needed to be cleared out, which was do we include the One Hive model into our initial MVP scope? I'm recommending no. And then we make this mainnet or XDAI deployment kind of more of a game time decision, but not a blocker for anything. And then we just keep going on the to-do list, which is the next big step, I think, is to discuss initial distribution, which I want to discuss later. I just need 5 minutes to finish the spreadsheet. Sorry. I'll pass it to you, Forrest.
Okay, no worries. Yeah, we can come back to you on the spreadsheet a little bit later. Okay, so then moving on down to issues, progress, and requests on Giveth 1 first. Ashley, I don't know if you saw my Discord chat, but if you could just plug in the link for that email overhaul list that you were mentioning last week here in the agenda, that would be great. And if you have any update or question to share there that's pertinent, feel free to do that now.
Well, we did end up looking at it at one of the development calls. I don't know if it was brought to a community call yet, but I can post that link in there so that everybody can look at it.
Okay, awesome. That
But I think
great.
that from my understanding, the developers are now working on integrating it.
Awesome. Thank you. And what progress have we made on stabilizing the system after it was down? Is there any update on that?
Yes, we did some fixes on the backend. Also, we did a great big change that was upgrading to our latest version of the database drivers. And it was delicate and huge because it has not been updated for 2 years at least. And there was a lot of stuff to be changed, and it was great test. It has passed great tests, and yeah, it's up right now and has not failed for after several days. For that, the system was down every 2 days. We need to restart it. Yeah, and also we have did some modification to the front end to prevent useless error pop-ups. Common problems that doesn't need error pop-ups and make the application user friendly. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much for that. And last time that we spoke, there was mention, now that we've got some new folks on the team, to begin regular daily stand-ups to power through some GitHub issues. And I'm just curious if someone's taken the baton on that and those have begun and those have been scheduled.
It's not firmly scheduled, but I daily talk with them. But you're right. Maybe we should schedule it make it as a regular meeting every day.
Okay. Perfect. Any other updates on Giveth 1 besides these points I had here in the agenda?
Yes, we have set up a service for social media preview, link preview. So if you send a campaign DAX milestone link via your social media network, it's not working on Twitter, but it should be fixed soon. But if you use it on the Discord, Telegram, WhatsApp, there's instant messaging application supports our preview.
Okay, amazing.
I actually have a question. I know we've talked, well, let me just ask the question first. Is it possible for campaigns, projects, information that's in Giveth 1 to be shown in Giveth 2, or do they all have to be manually entered, and will it always be that way?
Yes, we can do that. We can even define whitelist because they are all on database. We have a REST API. I can send you a link, and you see that you can simply enter ID somewhere and connect directly to our backend and fetch the information.
I mean,
Okay.
maybe if you could send me some example feathers calls. It would be 3 feathers, right? Then I can see how maybe it's easy for me to either import them or to wrap it in a GraphQL endpoint or something.
Of course, I will send.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm super curious about it, especially how it relates to MetaMask and logging in. That's the area that I've had the most trouble with Giveth 2, is the login and with Taurus and whatnot. So I'm just curious how what we've already done using MetaMask in Giveth 1 will translate to Giveth 2.
Yeah, as it is right now, like you can donate with MetaMask, but you can't. I believe this. Yeah, I think I'm right. So like you can't like create an account with MetaMask or add a project or something like this, or even manage projects, right? at this point. I mean, post MVP, that's something we would like to change, but I think that's the status quo.
Sorry, can you say your question again? I didn't get the part.
Well, so my question is that people have created their campaigns and have roles using with a MetaMask and address. So I'm not understanding exactly how that would translate. I think you have to create a new login in Giveth too, right? I just don't understand it yet. I'm assuming that it's going to work, that people who have created campaigns on Giveth 1, since the data's there, would be able to move it there. But I feel like there'd have to be some sort of login linking process.
On Giveth 1, everything your username is your wallet address. Your username is your wallet address. So if we have the wallet address of the user, it's easy. It's possible and it's easy because you just it's possible. And in Giveth 1, we sign user when you want to, if you want to authenticate, and instead of entering some password, you just sign a message by your wallet and say, okay, that's my password. Okay, I'm that person. And on the backend, the user entity ID is his address. So everything is accessible and transparent via user address.
Yeah, so Danny, I think I understand what you're asking. And basically we didn't build Giveth 2 with the same MetaMask authentication that Giveth 1 uses yet. We built it with Taurus, partly because we wanted to make it easier. We didn't want to require MetaMask for nonprofits and projects that aren't familiar with MetaMask and don't have it set up yet. We didn't want to create that barrier. So we are using a different authentication. Taurus, which is cool because it's just email and password and single sign-on. That's what's used for authentication. But when you create a project, you can put in any donation address you want. So that's where it is right now. We were talking earlier in the dev call about detecting MetaMask if a user already has it installed post MVP, which would be nice because then these projects on Giveth 1 could just sign in and authenticate with their same account, same Ethereum account. For now, for MVP, and correct me if I'm wrong, you guys, but these projects on Giveth 1 would have to just create a new account on Giveth 2 with Taurus, and then just paste in whatever address they wanted to receive donations.
That's in line with my understanding. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
I would love to see a very simple opt-in interoperability option for Giveth 1 and Giveth 2, where Giveth 2 is the donor interface and Giveth 1 is the management interface. But I don't think that's on the roadmap, honestly, at all. And it's definitely not in the MVP. So we'll have to see how much, what the users say, if the users want that or not. And I think some of them will.
Well, and won't some of those cases, moving those projects over, be perfect ways for us to test the new application?
Definitely.
Sounds like a very good idea.
I would say for simplicity's sake, don't try to connect them to start, and just see what it's like just to take money as a donation without the accountability on the end. And then if you guys want the accountability, manually send it there and donate in the name of the donor who gave it to you. It's just a one-step, gas transaction. You can donate in someone else's name and keep the transparency, and it's a stopgap solution until we move over to really connecting the two apps.
Right. So that would solve the issue where we want to show the traceability down to a milestone. We would just donate from Giveth 2 to the milestone.
You would donate from the address that received the money and Giveth 2, and then you would say, donate in the name of this address. There's that button. And then
exactly.
It should be easy. As long as they donated in a token Giveth 2 takes, or Giveth 1 takes.
Right.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you for these updates. Is there anything else we'd like to share about Giveth 1 before we move on to 2?
I mean, did you mention that we now have the, there's a huge issue that we've had for like a year and a half that when you send a link on Twitter or Telegram, it doesn't show a picture or anything. And Madi, one of our part-time contributors, finally finished this issue that has been plaguing us for years. So it's so cool. It's just huge. If you tweet a Giveth 1 thing, you'll get the picture and a little description. So it sounds small, but it's huge. It's huge for us, you know.
For sure. That's awesome.
You know, we have problem with the Netlify and pre-render stuff, so finally we decided to create our server. So our server is practicing every request. It's technical, but the problem wasn't straight. The solving wasn't straightforward at the time. That's the reason it took time.
Praise.
So cool.
Beautiful. Nice work. Okay, shifting over to Giveth 2. Sounds like testing may be ready as early as tomorrow for the team. So of course, developers keep us up to date on that. Danny and I also are scheduled tomorrow afternoon to collaborate on getting some of those content needs completed. Would anyone else like to share any G2 updates?
So I heard Wednesday is the day, right? Wednesday is the day that hopefully staging.giveth.io will be ready for everyone to go test. And then the plan is for everyone to test thoroughly, like every feature, every button you can think of to click on, click that button. Every feature, every edge case you can think of. This next week is going to be the time to test it. And then as we create new issues, there's now a nice new report an issue button in the interface. So we're hoping that everyone, as they see any issues, can report them. And the developers will be standing by, basically. Just the top priority will be to squash any bugs or any issues that get reported. And if everything goes well, then we'll push it all to v2.giveth.io, and we can start onboarding projects. So lots of really great progress this past week from the dev team on Giveth 2.
And that's kind of something important for our crew here to hear. So the test isn't available for us until Wednesday, but usually we do most of our Giveth work Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So we should probably, as a team down here, figure out the right time to come together and schedule time for testing, since it's a little different than our usual flow.
Well, that decision was relatively ad hoc decided on today, right, James and Mateo? I don't know.
I mean, I
spoke
to Mateo after the dev call even, and like, I mean, it's totally not black and white, right? Like, I mean, if people have time to test and they want to test tomorrow, they can, but like, be aware that there is outstanding issues that we're working on. But like, from Wednesday on, it would be like great if everybody could test, right? Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, having said that, like, me and Mateo are currently just working on a couple of unexpected issues, but I would say it's probably reasonable to start testing tomorrow. Mateo, what do you think about that?
Yeah, as soon as we fix the current ones, I guess since tomorrow is possible. Even Tuesday is more reliable of a date.
In any case, just to stick with the plan, officially it starts Wednesday, and then I will ping everybody to, hey, please go here to test.
I guess my question is, going forward, would it be possible to have those test deployments more for the Sunday call? And then if Danny has her tester team, you know, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, because I assume that there's other projects or something in Costa Rica that you guys are working on Thursday and Friday. I don't know, just like to coordinate around that if it's possible.
Yeah.
Good. Well, we can keep it for the sprint after that. We can keep it in mind, sure.
So
Yeah,
Danny,
you're right. Wednesdays and Thursdays are our days working on the land. So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday are our computer days.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it was kind of arbitrary, our decision anyway. I guess we just weren't aware of that. So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday is computer days. All right. Cool.
We have room Fridays and Thursday and Friday to some extent, but it's better early in the week for us.
Cool. I'm sure we can plan around that. So, like me and Matteo will let you know then about tomorrow or Tuesday, I guess. Like, well, there's like just like 1 or 2 small issues we're working on right now.
Beautiful. Awesome. Well, yeah, I love this clear communication. Sounds like a good action for us moving forward is to align with the Costa Rica team that we've got several great folks testing, and in the future we can have the deployments ready for Sunday testing after discussion on the call. But it sounds like James and Matteo are going to fix the current 1 or 2 small issues, and then potentially as soon as Tuesday it could be ready for testing, but for sure by the scheduled day of this Wednesday, January 13th. Awesome. That's exciting. I'm looking forward to supporting that as well. Any other Giveth 2 updates?
Just a quick one. I saw there was a question in there about did we get approved by Braintree? They still hadn't responded to the email, so I was on their website filling out the contact form once again saying, hey, we filled this out a couple times, we haven't heard anything. And when I clicked submit this time, it said your business is eligible to apply for Braintree and receive expedited service from our sales team. So we now have access to fill out the application, which I will do today, and submit that so that hopefully we can get that approval soon. And the timing could work out pretty well where hopefully right when we finish up with MVP, we can start working on the fiat functionality.
More praise. So is there anything about Braintree that I know we really wanted to be able to get the other one that we won't even mention now because it was already coded. Is there anything that's extra better about Braintree or anything that we wish it did that it doesn't do yet?
So Braintree is like probably Stripe's biggest competitor when it comes to Stripe was unique because there's all these like payment processors, but what Stripe and Braintree do is they have like a marketplace API where we can give our users the ability to connect their own bank account and collect donations without even going through Giveth and without us having to deal with any of the compliance issues or account like identity verification, any of that. Braintree has that all built in. Stripe is like the premium. It's just honestly known as one of the best developer SDKs out there. And they have a ton of functionality that they've built over the years. That was pretty much exactly what we needed. So Stripe would have been awesome. Braintree's like, as far as I've seen, Braintree is the closest to that marketplace functionality. And that was actually how Braintree started before they got acquired by PayPal, was they were the API for marketplace payments, basically. So they're pretty similar. There's not really any functionality we get with Braintree that we wouldn't get with Stripe, but the functionality that we get with Braintree is like, Braintree is one of the only other places besides Stripe that we can't get that functionality without us having to build all that ourselves, which is way too much scope for us to take on right now. So the other cool thing about Braintree is that they are a PayPal company, and as we know, PayPal is becoming more and more crypto friendly. So the hope is that we won't get rejected by Braintree like we did with Stripe, and we are now confirming that before we build the integration, which is the lesson we learned last time. Oh yeah, and on this note too, we've also been exploring as an alternative or as another option, can we do fiat to crypto donations? Griff had recommended Transact, which is a cool aggregator that we looked at. I looked at before on behalf of Shapeshift. They're really cool because they basically, it's just like these DEX aggregators like 1inch or 0x where they aggregate different fiat on-ramp providers. And we have confirmed with them that basically the style of integration that we would like to do wouldn't violate their terms of service or anything like that. And if we wanted to do Transact, if we wanted to use Transact to enable fiat to crypto donations, we could. So that option is on the table. Still think we should proceed with Braintree as the initial integration for fiat donations, but definitely cool to hear that we could potentially do a fiat to crypto on-ramp. There'd still be the KYC burden on behalf of the user, but one of the things that I was worried about was like, is it compliant for a user to use their debit card to donate crypto to another project on the other side of the world? And I know there's some extra compliance issues there. Like you have basically only money transmitter businesses or money service businesses can do that. But apparently after talking to Transact, they said, we made it pretty clear what we were doing, and they said, yep, that should be fine. So some more good news there. But next step is still to proceed with trying to integrate Braintree. Wow, amazing work on this, Willie. It's I had given up on fiat a long time ago, and I know this is no small feat. So seriously, dude, thank you so much for taking on this fiat integration. My pleasure. I'm super excited about it too, and yeah, I'm glad we've been tenacious on it. Kept pushing. It'll be worth it. It will be. Thank you, man. Seriously.
Thank you, Willie. And I also really want to honor how clearly you explain and communicate things. It's so easy for me to understand what's going on when I hear you communicating. So yeah, thank you for that. Just a little shout out praise. Griff, are you ready to share this spreadsheet with us, or would you like some more time?
No, I am. Okay. So I want to preface this with this spreadsheet is like not a lot of thought that went into this. I mean, a little bit for sure, but it's more focused on being a starting point than a like, oh, this is Griff's recommendation or something. But I wanted to. I understand that planning an initial distribution is really hard, and I've done it for a few teams. So I took some of the best ways that we've done it and put it in this spreadsheet. Most of this came from DAppNode, so major props to DAppNode for that. Are you sharing your screen, Griff? Oh no, I'm not, but I can. Or are you trying to? I should. Okay, cool. And I put a link in the chat so you can play around. And what I would suggest is that I think the easiest way to do these things is for everyone to kind of if anyone who's interested in planning an initial distribution, just do it. Like duplicate the sheet. Here we go. So you can see my screen now?
Yeah.
No? Yeah?
Yes.
Ooh. Okay. So, scary spreadsheet. I know. I'm so sorry. I'll explain it really quickly. So column A is the allocation. And besides column A, this spreadsheet is really cool. You can just do this thing. And it should, let's see, did that actually work? No. There's something wrong on one of these. I think it's the roadmap projects. It's adding the donors, but I'll fix that. But basically, you can kind of like hide things so it looks a little cleaner. I know what's wrong here. I don't want to fix it right now, but I'll fix this. This is not right. It should be 4%. And so it auto-populates these graphs based off of this sorting. So it's really fun if you want to like explode one of these triangles. But anyway, so this column A is the actual bucket of money of give tokens, and then and so the purpose of the spreadsheet is to try to figure out how do we distribute the initial funding, right? Or the initial distribution of tokens. So that's the purpose. In column A, you have all the buckets. In column B, you have the locking requirements. In column C, you have the percentage weights, how much of the percentage of the total supply would go there. In column D, you have the initial weights, which is like the initial circulating supply. Because all of these, in every bucket, basically I proposed some sort of lockup period. In column E, I made an assumption of 100 million tokens, and this is how many tokens that is for the total area, the total weight, and then this is the number of tokens it would be for the initial distribution. And then column G is just some notes on, like, you know, some details that you'd want to add. And so it's very easy if you want to take a crack at it. I know Willie has already done this probably. And I'm sure other people might be curious to be like, yeah, you know, Griff, this like giving 10% to the team isn't enough. So I'm just going to duplicate it and and make my own my distro. And even just like change that one thing, you know, and be like, yeah, we're taking that from CB. Okay, done. Totally cool. So this is just a starting point. I tried to make sure that I didn't miss any of the buckets that we identified in our previous calls. But we got to get this done and just start making decisions. I'd say this is a huge blocker. But I think we can power through it and within a week settle on something, at least for continuing this progress. Any questions, comments? I'm not as good at describing myself as Willie, so maybe I wasn't clear.
No, I got it. I'll make a copy of it. That looks amazing. This like helps me understand so much more.
Just a slight spoiler, I agree with the dep node token.
Yeah, there's going to be a dep node token.
Thank you very much for all of this work. It looks great.
Yeah, this was awesome. Excited to dive in here and play around.
So yeah. Okay. Well, if you guys don't have anything else about this, yeah, feel free to have fun with it.
Brilliant. And you dropped a link to this in the chat, so I'm just going to copy that over to the notes as well, so you can find them in either spot after the call. Put this here. Cool. So I'm just going to take back over the screen share unless anybody has any other questions for Griff on this spreadsheet. Okay.
So Griff, once we're happy with the settings that we would like, I mean, for the token design, like, I mean, it sounds like you were saying we could probably figure that out in the next week or so. Did I understand that correctly?
Yeah, you know, in my opinion, we just need something to start with, and then as we go, we'll be more informed, and we'll debate the finer points before we release it to the public, and that's when the real final details get sorted. But getting this initial like sense making around it is really critical, so that we're all aligned and we don't have big arguments later. I would say, not arguments, you know, but just like different expectations, and also a tight time limit, because it really, no matter what we pick right now, it would be silly not to reassess at the moment of going public with it.
Totally. Yeah, it's still a bull market, right? It'd be exciting to get a token launched as soon as possible.
Yeah, exactly. But I really think that we can launch. If we really hustle around this, with Gabby on our side and a few other things coming into place, I really hope the Giveth 2 team and the Giveth 1 teams can stay focused on the DApp and not be too distracted. But Forrest, me, Gabby, I might pull, mostly Willie, and I feel like we can build a team that can just get this shit done, and we launch a token with a plan. And of course, Danny, there's a lot. Probably the biggest slow step for me is the narrative story. Defining our audience, defining the memes, and getting the Costa Rica team around to the story, right? That's probably like. I feel like that's the slow step. Launching a token, I could do it today, right? So the story is the blocker, and aligning the story with the plan.
Sounds great.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you think we can all get our thoughts into that sheet this week, and then maybe next Sunday we can review a proposed allocation at the community call? Does that sound reasonable?
Yeah, I mean, if we wanted to go wild, we could try to do it tomorrow at the governance call too, and say, if there's no blockers for getting it done tonight.
Let's try it. I mean, we can push for that. And then, I just wanted to at least I posted in the channel, the tokenomics channel, deadline to modify next Saturday. Just knowing that, we should have it finalized by next Sunday at the latest.
I like that.
Cool.
And definitely the governance call time is available for us to, that's what that's there for us to work on this.
Perfect. Yeah, I would sort of propose that we all just come with our sheet if we want to make an initial distribution, and then we go section by section where everyone proposed their ideas and why they think about it, and then we just appoint Willie as benevolent dictator on the final decision. That would be my proposal.
I promise I won't allocate all the tokens to myself.
Yeah. Sure. We'll check. We'll be a check.
Okay, any other questions or comments on the spreadsheet and our actions here? Okay, thanks, Griff, for all your work on that. And excited to get that going tonight and tomorrow, following up in the governance call. Went through Giveth 2 already. Okay, DevOps. Do we have any updates here? So again, this is just the issues, progress, and request section that we were talking about earlier. We already went over.
Actually, Kai helped us and pointing and changing the DNS entries and issuing certificates for the link preview and use fine.
Okay. And can you reiterate? It was just a little hard to hear you on what update Kai supported.
And the link preview feature. Do you hear me? Yeah.
Yes.
He helped us under changing the DNS entries, issuing certificates because we changed the server and needed new ones. Issuing certificates.
Thank you. I appreciate your patience. Thanks so much. Any other DevOps updates?
No, you got email. And whoever wants email should get them. Another thing I want to talk about at the Giveth call, but one is the servers. I told Amin today we should probably secure them a bit more, but we'll talk at the dev call.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you. Okay, so then shifting over to Giveth 2.0 MVP launch status. These questions for developers. So How are the launch blocking features? Any updates on UX? I just included a link here from the final week sprint for the soft launch. What I saw in GitHub was 2 open pull requests and 103 open issues. Not sure how many of those are actual blockers though. Sounds like yes, we're still on with our release date for Wednesday. We already discussed that.
Yeah, we look pretty good. Like we said, we will be open for testing from Wednesday on, because we are within the limits of the sprint. Those open issues go beyond MVP, and there are little ones, there are big ones. As far as blockers go, not too many, to be honest. And from a UX perspective, there is going on a lot that is in the current release. User quality of life stuff, but also fundamental things. Yeah, we have a like button and a share. So you don't have to know it all. These changes really are in details, and overall, it's getting ready. And so we think about all the ways to open it up already. And I think if Wednesday is good, if the testing is good on the next time frame, we can start preparing for the actual release for the sprint after. But that's just what I think. And I know we want to move fast and maybe even, maybe have a soft release, but we will talk about this after testing the next release.
Okay. Good updates. Thank you. Already discussed Braintree. Anything else on SDG impact?
I put some comments in for that down below in section.
Okay. They're implementing their new payment processing system right now, which will give donor advisors greater access to details and easier donation management interface. That's great to hear. Mateo's payment complete. Need to pay Bloom. Any other invoicing can be done through the DAF. That looks like a question. Launched a new DAF for a campaign on Giveth 1. Devonte Luz, great. That's our project in Costa Rica. Donations moving through Giveth 1 to SDG with tax deductions. Anything else that you want to mention or inquire about here, Danny?
Well, just thinking about what invoicing we can automate through the DAF, if that makes sense to do that, if there's funds that we have there. I'm just starting to think about how we can use the payment system of donations that are coming into the DAF, which right now we don't have those. So yeah, that's just a question that I have, is what invoices we have that we can gather and start tracking and have those get paid automatically. And then on that third point, it's kind of exciting to see this evolving, that we have multiple sub-DAFs underneath SDG Impact that can actually donate to each other. It's opening up some great possibilities for our project. So I'll have a little bit more information after we get a couple of those through and documented.
Beautiful. Thank you, thank you. Okay, just a friendly reminder that we can add pilot projects here. We discussed this last time, but any projects that are ready to accept donations and would be great, the MVP for raising crypto donations that don't need a whole lot of hand-holding, please contact them or add them to this list directly. Yeah, I want to name it is noon. So I think that these following couple of things are maybe not totally vital, but Danny, do you want to give this update on the grant? I see you're typing in here, delayed announcement of winners until February on the Reimagining fundraising. Anything else you'd like to share on that before we close?
No, I don't have anything else to update. Just noticing that I hadn't received any email, and when I looked, they delayed the announcement on that till February, so it's still out there. Yeah, and then on the next one, I just added Forrest to that Bloom Network contract. We can discuss if there's any reason or ways we would want to continue that partnership going forward once we close out that first one for 2020.
Okay, beautiful. Yeah, I've got that as an action. I'm going to review that Google Doc you shared, and then you and I can sync up before I schedule any meetings with Magenta this week.
Yeah, I do want to mention that Bloom Network is partnered with Metagame now and a few other things, and they're highly advantageously aligned with us in a lot of different ways.
Okay, good to know. Awesome. Cool. So that seems like we got through the agenda. Again, like last time, not really much time for closing, and I want to be respectful of everyone's time. But if there's any other important key points anyone feels called to share, Ashley, I see your hand raised. Your mic is muted though.
Okay, I just have a question about onboarding. I really want to get involved more with onboarding, and I've been doing a lot of onboarding here on the ground with projects here in Costa Rica, walking people through the process of setting them up. But now that we're about to launch this MVP, I'm curious if it's better off to wait until that's launched and then try to, onboard people onto version 2, or do I keep onboarding people onto version 1? What would be the best way to proceed there?
That is a good question. I mean, I would basically use your best judgment and be transparent with these projects that are like, hey, we have Giveth 1 right now, it's live. Giveth 2 is coming in weeks, it's imminent. You'll probably have a good idea about which is a better fit for them based on what their needs are. But yeah, do know that they can use both. But Giveth 1 is what's ready now. Giveth 2 is coming soon, and there's obviously some different features. So depending on what their needs are, one or the other might be a better fit for them. But I think the idea is that most projects, even if you're using Giveth 1, should be using Giveth 2 once it's live, so they can have a nice, really pretty front end and get the most donations.
And then I guess the other part of that is I would love to get more involved with onboarding people like through the Discord and people that come in, new members. I've been seeing a lot of people come in asking how can they get their projects up. So I don't know who I would need to talk to get like permissions to either whitelist or assign issues, or to get more involved with that, to get people in a place where they can create those projects on Giveth online.
Yeah, right now, Ashley, when we have people create that issue, I'm passing that information over to Kai, and he's now doing the whitelisting. It's a little complicated because you have to go into Feather and use some special commands. So honestly, I think it's best that we keep it in GitHub and ping Kai when we want to whitelist somebody for Giveth 1.
Okay. And then how would I get permissions to assign issues in GitHub?
Do you have to assign them? Why do you have to assign them? Anybody can create them, but assigning should be done by the person that created it, or in our developer calls, we usually assign issues that are not assigned, so people actually know that they are assigned to issues.
Okay, I guess there's an issue in there right now. It's issue number 1642 that I did for that, but then somebody else, they created an issue to get whitelisted, and it's been sitting in there for like 5 days or something like that. So I was just wondering, like, to push things along so that these people who are really gung-ho about starting their projects don't have to wait a week before they're able to put their project up.
That one's complete. I did send that one to Kai this morning. That's the one you just did. That was open for 5 days.
Okay.
turnaround should be faster. Yeah, please PM me for just with the address and what permission they should get if it's for a campaign or a DC. And for Giveth 2, this is not necessary at all. People or as far as I remember, we said we would not do any whitelisting at first. Good one. I think we did not discuss it to the end. I just remember. But as it stands currently now, anybody can just open a project.
Okay, cool. Well, I'll keep that in mind and move forward with that information. So thanks for answering that. That's all I had.
I got a quick one I wanted to share. I noticed I think there's lots of new faces and lots of friends who have contributed in December. So we're a little bit behind with payments for rewarding contributors for last month, but definitely something we want to get done this week, and probably something we can talk about separately. But something that I need some help on, I think, because I hate being a roadblock on this, but I have not had the time to do it this past week. So, anyways, if you have contributed to Giveth Progress in December, right now what we do is we pay everybody in using Giveth 1. So what you need to do to get rewarded is I just posted the link both in the Interspace and in the Notion, but you need to create a milestone in the Giveth 2 campaign. And you can look at all the other milestones from the other faces on this call to get direction on what it should look like. But if you can create that this week, then we can make sure you're included with the reward distributions for December.
And that's going to be in Pan again?
It's going to be in Pan again.
Yeah.
We got a lot of Pan, yeah.
Right on.
Cool.
Oh, I also have sorry, did you finish?
Yep.
I also have a quick one. In these times when we have like many people come in and start doing contributions, we should watch that actually SourceCred is tracking everyone. It should, but you need to be enabled. So let me actually show you this, and I'll put this in the chat as well. So if you see yourself here, if you go to cred.giveth.io, and as I said, I will post this again. If you go to give accounts, you see here that accounts can be active with a green check mark or not active. And so everyone should be active who is like active in the chat, because that's the way to get grain once we are there. You should in any case have a score. So this is also where you can look for your name. But one of the good things to look for is if you have a very different username in GitHub than Discord, maybe bring it to my attention, because they have to be connected. And so, for example, this is like how it starts with our SourceCred, and you should see. Do we see that here? No, we don't. But so, for example, Willie's here is connected to GitHub and Discord. Mine is, James's is, and you would never get a very high score even if you did a lot of work if it's not connected. So just to keep that in mind, I'll write a little bit in the chat about this.
I noticed that in the OneHive Discord, they have an onboarding channel. I don't know if that's useful for us. Like where everyone just leaves their GitHub ID, their Discord ID, and their Discourse ID in that case.
Nice. I've been thinking about some Discord upgrades, but that's for another call. I
like to put it onto the people to check for themselves is if they are there, and then if they're not there, they tell me, because as this is very hard to scale,
Yeah.
And even an onboard channel like where stuff keeps coming in. Yeah.
So where's the link to this?
That was on the OneHive, I think.
But you said it's sourcecred.giveth?
It's cred.giveth.
Cred.giveth. Thank you. Cool.
Awesome. Pulling that up, and I'll drop a link to that in the Notion as well. And you can ping Kai, it seems, if you've got any questions. Any other final updates or questions, burning shares for this community call? Okay.
Sorry, just a question.
You all is burning.
Sorry?
My love for you all is burning.
Heart beams.
Okay.
Did I hear? I think I heard one of the gentlemen trying to say something also.
Oh no, I thought you addressed me. I just want to mention that, Mitch, you are so beautiful. Like, you're so beautiful, man, and it's like me.
Wow, I feel like crap. Thanks. I don't know how I pull it off.
Amazing.
Oh my God, what a beautiful team.
All right.
On that note, at 12:12, I love it. Well, yeah, lots of love to everyone. Thank you so much for your time today. Lots of exciting updates. I'm honored to be collaborated and connected with you all. I hope you have a very happy Sunday. I'll re-ping a link to the Notion notes if anyone would like to re-review or check any of the actions. And with that, I bid you adieu. Have a happy day, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Bye. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Thank you. That was great.
Thank you. Ciao. Griff, can you stay on for a minute?
Absolutely.
Nice.
Kai, can you end the live stream? Or can someone? Maybe I can. Let's see.
Or I can give you a shout on Telegram or something.
Yeah, we can do a new one if I can't get this over, but we really don't want the
recording
to just be 3 hours and
Totally.
let's see. Where's that lady? There's usually a lady that says live streaming has stopped.
Yeah, right? Richie.
Tommy and Kai, are you guys there? Can you just close your browser window? Because if they stay, it will just go forever. It's okay. I don't have the power, I think.
Neither do I.
Well, okay, well, I guess.
Shall I just call you back on Telegram or something?
Sure, that'll work.
Okay, fine.
Okay, see you, buddy.